Okay, this is the Monday homework check for the 4th grade. That is doing quarter 2 right now. And it says, what is the place value of the underlined digit? Since it says the word place, we are going to tell the name of the place. And this 2 is in the hundred thousands place. The 7 is in the 10,000s place. Now remember, if we didn't have the word place and it just said value, we would give the numerical value of that digit instead. Okay, find the difference. When you need to find the difference, that always means subtract. Even if you're reasoning through a word problem and you know you need to find the difference, that tells you you need to subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0. 3 minus 7, we need to borrow. 13 minus 7 is 6. 0 minus 4, we need to borrow. 10 minus 4 is 6. 8 minus 8 is 0. 7 minus 0 is 7. 70,660. All right, dividend divided by the divisor equals the quotient, which is the answer to a division problem. Let's stretch out our dividend here. And make our lines right after our digits. We're making groups of 7. 7 into 7 is 1 time, because 1 times 7 is 7. We subtract and get 0. We bring the difference up. We cannot make a group of 7 out of 4, so we say 0 times 7 is 0. Subtract a difference of 4. Bring that up. 7 into 49 will go 7 times, because 7 times 7 is 49. Difference of 0. And 7 into 2 won't go. We can't make a group. 0 times 7 is 0. And this last difference here becomes our remainder. So final answer on this one is 1,070 with a remainder of 2. Cassie is writing a book. She has to write 336 pages. If she wants to finish in 8 days, how many pages will she need to write each day? So we're going to divide this big project up into 8 days. And so I'm going to stretch that out like our new method into 336 days. Here we go. And I know I can't get a group of 8 out of 3, so I'm just going to draw this line, and we're going to go ahead and look at the 33. And that would be 4, because 4 times 8 is 32 with a difference of 1. And 8 will go into 16 2 times, because 2 times 8 is 16. So we do not have a remainder. And our final answer, how many pages will she need to write each day? 42 pages each day for 8 days, and then she'll be finished. All right, create a pattern with the rule n minus 4. So we're going to let n be our top row here, our input, if you will. Our bottom row will be our output. That means what will happen as a result of applying the rule. And we're going to start, the easiest thing to do is just start with 1 as your n. I'm going to make a little number line to show you what's going to happen if we start at 1 and we hop to the left, which is backwards 4. Okay, we know what comes before 1 on the number line is 0, right? Then we go to -1, -2, -3. So if we start in at 1 and we hop backwards, that's to the left, that's what the subtraction sign means. And we do 4 hops, we end up on a -3. How crazy is that? If we start at 2, however, and we did 4 hops backwards, that would put us to a -2. If we start at 3, I'm going to run out of space over here, but here's my 3. 4 hops backwards would put us at a -1. If we start at 4 minus 4, then we end up at 0. And if we start at 5 minus 4, we would end up at 1. Now your pattern could have been totally different. You could have started at 4 and kept it all in the positive, and that is fine. I just wanted to show you what would happen if you truly did start in at 1 like we usually do. Okay, the next one, compare the fractions using greater than, less than, or equal to. Draw the fractions. I have told you when you are comparing fractions, it's best to do stacked rectangles. So on the top one over here, I'm going to do 1/3 and shade in left to right so you can compare. On the next one, I'm going to do 2/10. So that means I've got to have 5 pieces on each side. Goodness gracious. Okay. And color in 2 of them, which puts me to there. And if we can compare that to our 1/3, you can clearly see that the 1/3 is greater than 2/10. Okay, now I'm going to do 3/4 on the top one. So there's my 4ths, and I get to color in 3 of them. And on the bottom, I get to color in, or I get to draw 1/8 first. So I'm going to make 4 that match up with the top, and then split those in half, and then I'll have 8. And I get to color in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And look, we are the same, aren't we? These are equal. And I hope you notice that if you double 3, you get 6. If you double 4, you get 8. So they did the doubling trick. When we do that, we know we get an equivalent fraction. Now rewrite the improper fraction as a mixed number. So if we are talking about fifths and we had a whole divided into fifths, there's my fifths, and there's 5 of them in that whole, right? 5/5. If I'm talking about 8/5, that means is, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here's more fifths, but I get to color in 3 more of these. Okay, so this is what it really looks like. I used 5/5 in the whole, and then I had 3/5 of another whole. So 5/5 really equals 1 and 3/5. This is what 8/5 gives me. 1 whole and 3/5 of another one. Okay, let's try one with thirds. So we're looking at thirds. There's 3, 6, 9. And I would get to do another one and only color in one of those. So you can see how many holes that equals. Because see, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. That's where this comes from. We get 3 holes with 1/3 of the last hole. Okay? Now our new skill this week, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. For adding, it's fine to go horizontally, but when we get to subtraction, we're going to do it vertically. So let's just get used to that. We're going to rewrite this problem vertically. And just as when you're doing ones, tens, and hundreds in a regular problem, we're going to keep our fractions lined up, okay, and our whole numbers lined up. Now 1/3 plus 1/3 gives us 2/3, and 1 whole and another whole gives us 2 wholes. So our final answer here is 2 and 2/3. Okay, now let's try subtraction. We're going to rewrite it vertically. We're going to line up our fractions and our wholes. Now 3/4 minus 1/4 would give us 2/4, and 2 minus 1 is 1. Except a simpler way to say 2/4 is 1/2. So our reduced answer, or simplest answer, is 1 and 1/2. Now if you leave your answer in the 2/4 form, On a test, I would count it correct, but minus 1 point for not reducing it to the simplest form. Okay, and that's it for today.